Ana Martinez sat in the corner of the university's stellar anthropology lab, her weathered hands carefully calibrating a spectrometer, while her classmates chattered about their homeworlds. The 17 other species represented in Professor Helen's advanced xenobiology course came from garden worlds, planets with gentle gravity, filtered sunlight, and ecosystems that had never tried to kill their inhabitants. Ana was different. She was from Earth. The Vortani twins, Zephyk and Zelen, towered over the other students with their crystalline exoskeletons catching the artificial light. They'd been making snide comments about the primitive Deathworlder for weeks, though, never quite loud enough for Professor Helen to hear. "Look at her," Zephyk whispered, his translator rendering his chittering into standard galactic. "Still using manual calibration. My larvae could operate that equipment telepathically." Ana's jaw tightened, but she continued her work. Earth had taught her patience. You don't survive hurricanes, earthquakes, predators, and diseases by being. Impulsive Zelen joined in, emboldened by his brother's words. "I heard Deathworlders have to eat dead organic matter to survive. Disgusting. Civilized species evolved past such barbarism eons ago." The Floraxian student, resembling a walking flower arrangement, rustled uncomfortably. "Perhaps we should focus on our assignments?" "Nonsense," Zephyk interrupted. "It's educational. We're studying primitive life forms after all." He gestured dismissively toward Ana. "Tell us, Deathworlder, is it true your species still experiences the emotion called anger?" "How wonderfully archaic." Ana set down her instrument slowly. When she finally looked up, her brown eyes held the same calm intensity as a storm front. "We do experience anger," she said quietly. "We also experience something your species apparently lacks." "Oh? And what's that?" Zelen leaned closer, his crystalline features arranged in what passed for a sneer. "Restraint." Professor Helen chose that moment to enter the lab, his 4 arms carrying data tablets and specimen containers. As the Corthaxian's eye stalk swiveled to survey the room, the Vortani twins immediately straightened, their harassment forgotten. "Today we'll be examining stress responses in various evolutionary environments," Helen announced. "Please pair up for the neural mapping exercise." Ana found herself predictably partnerless as the other students gravitated toward their own species, or familiar faces. Professor Helen's eye stalks drooped sympathetically. "Ana, you'll work with me on the demonstration model," he said kindly. The neural mapping device resembled a crown of fiber optic cables. When worn, it projected the subject's stress responses as holographic displays, showing fight-or-flight reactions, adrenal equivalents, and threat assessment patterns. "Who would like to volunteer first?" Helen asked. Zephyk practically vibrated with excitement. "I will, Professor. Let's show everyone how advanced crystalline neural networks operate." The device settled over his angular head, and immediately, the hologram showed a complex but orderly pattern, geometric shapes flowing in predictable paths. When Helen introduced a mild stressor, a loud sound, the pattern barely shifted. "Excellent," Helen noted. The Vortani nervous system evolved on a world with minimal environmental threats. Very efficient, very stable. Other students took turns. The Floraxians' patterns resembled blooming flowers that folded inward under stress. The Aquarians' readings flowed like gentle currents. Each species showed refined, specialized responses suited to their benign homeworlds. "Now," Helen said, "let's examine our human subject." Ana stepped forward and donned the neural crown. The moment it activated, gasps echoed through the lab. Her holographic display was unlike anything they'd seen, a constantly shifting maelstrom of interconnected systems. Even at rest, her neural pattern showed hypervigilance, threat assessment, protocols and rapid response pathways firing in complex cascades. "Fascinating," Helen murmured. "This is the baseline for a Deathworlder nervous system. Notice the redundant pathways, the multi-layered threat detection, He was interrupted by Zephyk's derisive laughter. "Look at that chaos. It's like her brain is constantly malfunctioning. How does your species accomplish anything with such primitive neural architecture?" Ana's pattern suddenly condensed, the chaotic swirls organizing into something that made several students step back instinctively. "Perhaps," she said with dangerous quietness, You'd like to find out? Before Helen could intervene, Anna had moved. Not the clumsy, lurching the aliens expected from a primitive species, but with the fluid precision of an apex predator. Her hand shot out, catching Zephic's crystalline wrist. She didn't squeeze, didn't need to. The gesture was demonstration. Enough. Your exoskeleton, she said conversationally, is mostly calcium carbonate, correct? Beautiful but brittle. I grew up in 1.2 gravities, breathing an atmosphere that would burn your respiratory system, on a world where the weather systems release energy equivalent to fusion bombs. Zephic's hologram, still connected to his neural crown, showed rapidly, spiking stress indicators. My primitive muscles evolved to carry me through environments that would liquefy you. My chaotic nervous system processes threats you can't even imagine. And my archaic anger? Her grip tightened slightly. It's kept my species alive for millions of years. She released him and stepped back, her neural display returning to its complex baseline pattern. The difference between us, she continued, isn't that I'm primitive. It's that I'm dangerous and I've spent my entire life learning not to be. The lab fell silent except for the humming of equipment. Even Professor Helen's eye stalks had gone perfectly still. Anna removed the neural crown and set it carefully on the lab bench. Your homework assignment, she said to the room at large, should probably include a section on why Deathworlders sit quietly. It's not because we can't do anything else. She gathered her materials and walked toward the exit, pausing at the door. It's because we choose not to. After she left, it took several minutes before anyone spoke. Finally, the Floraxian student broke the silence with a rustling whisper. I think I understand now why humans have been so successful in space. Professor Helen's eye stalks nodded slowly. Indeed. Perhaps we should revise our curriculum to include a course on Deathworlder psychology. Zephic sat examining his unbruised but thoroughly humbled wrist, his crystalline features dim with newfound respect and considerable fear. Outside in the corridor, Anna walked calmly toward her next class, her mind already moving to differential, equations and stellar mechanics, peaceful subjects that didn't require her to remember why quiet Deathworlders were the most dangerous kind. Behind her, the lesson continued without interruption.